facilitating customs clearance procedures for commodities in various Egyptian ports. Initially, the Prime Minister clarified that the government's efforts to streamline the customs procedures for releasing goods, emphasizing that work is ongoing to make a qualitative leap in this area in order to achieve the desired goal of turning various Egyptian ports into international ports with the aim of increasing trade movement.
We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for this afternoon, Engineer Mustafa Nagari, the Deputy Chairman of the Egyptian Exporters Association. It's a very good afternoon to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. So let me start by asking you, Engineer Mustafa, now the Prime Minister, collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, have announced the government is to suspend duties and customs on several goods for the next 6 months. What does this translate into, sir?
As you know, that we have realized that starting from March 2023, the devaluation and inflation of the food prices were increasing on monthly basis. And according to that, there was a lot of studies about the reason of such increase in the main food items which hit the families in Egypt. And that's why there was this initiative, if we can call it, and it was issued by the Prime Minister and joined by the Egyptian Federation of Chamber of Commerce and the Egyptian Federation of Industries. And there was a lot of discussion about the reason of such increase against the usual equation of demand and supply. Mm-hmm. So there was new issues, which is the panic, which is damaging both importers and producers and also consumers. There was a panic, if we can say that. And also there was the devaluation of the Egyptian pound against foreign currencies, which led to if we can say, two prices of the dollar in the market. And according to that, there was a piled inflation for the price of the food. Absolutely. And according to that, all these entities and federations have said with the Prime Minister, with a group of the leading traders in the market, yes, and they agreed to have this initiative for 6 months, which will lead to decrease the prices of the main groups of food. Yes. Between 15 to 25%. Yes. And we are focusing on that, but I can tell that we came to agreement that every month there will be a meeting to review the results of these initiatives, and any decisions could be taken to facilitate and to try to afford the availability of the food main items to the market will be there.
Indeed. Now, Engineer Mustafa, we're talking about basic commodities that include beans, dairy products, cheese, white cheese, mixed oil, pasta, sugar, lentils, poultry products, eggs and rice. Of course, these are all staples really for most Egyptians. And let me ask you, sir, who is in charge of making sure that these prices indeed drop, implementing this initiative and following up, as you said, on it?
As you know, that most of the ministries, like Ministry of Food Supply and the Internal Trade, and also Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade and Industry, they all have departments to follow and to control this initiative. Mm-hmm. So there will be always evaluation, but yes, according to that, Egypt is always following the free trade measures in all its steps. So we have to review to the Prime Minister, and as I said, that every month there will be a meeting to evaluate And if there is a decision to be taken to try to control this jump in the prices, it will be taken.
Absolutely right. Now, furthermore, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Ahmad Samir, said the government is also facilitating procedures to release imported goods from ports as quickly as possible. This, again, in the fight to curb inflation, especially in food prices. How important is this step to coincide with the drop in the prices?
In general, a part of this initiative was that the government will waive all the customs and the official cost to be handled by the Egyptian government, it will be all waived. So, and also the Central Bank of Egypt will afford the invoices value to be paid directly on the value of the official rate of the Egyptian pound against the dollar, which is 31 pounds. And this all will lead at the end to facilitate the supply chain, if we can say, and it will also try to increase the availability of the commodities in the market, because in general, if you have a good flow and supply chain of any commodity, the price will be always stable or will tend to be down.
Yes.
In the other way, it's not only this channel which you are talking about, the initiative. The Egyptian government is also moving in other channels to increase the production of food for Egypt, for the country, and concentrating at the time being on the main crops like wheat, like corn, like soya bean, sugar beet, and all is affecting the main items which the initiative have been talking about. So we have to increase our productivity to try to depend more and more about our local production and to close the gap between import and export.
Absolutely. And also in other steps taken by the state last week, the government coordinated with the Central Bank of Egypt to secure foreign currency required to procure goods and also find solutions, reducing prices of essential goods, especially with the state trying to reach, food security in light of the global challenges in this regard.
Yeah, at the time being, the main issue for the government is to try to control the prices for the Egyptian people in general, as the power of purchase is declining. So we have at the end to increase our trade facilities, so at the end the prices will be stable as before.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Engineer Mustafa Nagari, the Deputy Chairman of the Egyptian Exporters Association. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and your insight and for joining us on today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and we'll be back to continue with more news. Stay tuned.